How's y'all doing? What's happening with everyone? Am I crazy here or so I watched that whole Dame Lillard thing, right? And everything that I watch, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse with this Dame Lillard thing. Am I crazy for believing that, Clarence? Clarence, what's going on, bro? I haven't seen you in a minute. This Dame Lillard thing is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Every quote that gets released, the quotes just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Um, we were doing a playback last night, and AK was talking about Dame and like the whole LeBron thing. This is so for years, right? When we were talking about you know like Steph and like how the peers view him or whatever. The peers are not crazy about him. And the Dame thing is really interesting. And it's probably a really good example of all of this and kind of how we view all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's a good example to show, how other people Dame is like a good litmus test for how people view Steph. If y'all get what I'm saying. That's a really, really good example. Goldie, am I crazy for thinking that?
No, I mean it's like comparing like Jordan with Clyde Drexler. Like Clyde Drexler was amazing. He was great, and I mean, he had some good situations, and he didn't. He had some not great ones, but like it's not just about like the situation you're in. Like you look at how Steph's teams perform without him, and it's really fucking bad. So the fact that he can make his teams some of the best ever, while Dame is like he's made what one conference finals in his career. Like this is insane. Why is this a conversation? And what is going through Dame's mind where he still thinks this?
That's interesting.
Like I mean, he's only made one conference finals, right?
One conference finals, yeah.
He hasn't made it past the first round since then. I mean, like
You
his
know,
team
right.
literally shut him down this year because they knew that they weren't even going to be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah. The Dame thing is a the Dame thing is a problem. Dame, bro. I need to find a quote because this is just off memory. But when so and you can hear these guys say it too, you know, Dame, CJ, all of that. Like it's very important. Like these player podcasts, like they're very interesting. And CJ had like a podcast that was pretty good that I used to listen to. And whenever and you don't even have to listen to the podcast, but even when you hear him talk on TV, there is a certain tone that he talks with. And all of these little guards, and I'm going to include Jordan Poole in this. Jordan Poole, Dame, CJ, Trey Young, Harrow, all of these guards, James Harden, you know, all of these guards that are three-level guards, they all think them and Steph Curry are on the same level. You know what I'm saying? So look at every guard that you can think of. So, Harrow, Maxi, Trey, all of these dribble. dribble, pass, shoot guys, take threes, and all of that. They think that they're just as good as Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? So they don't look at they don't necessarily look at Steph and say, "Oh, I like," but they'll look at like a LeBron because LeBron is like fucking 6'8", 250 pounds, and he's it's kind of like stopping like a bulldozer going to the rim. You know what I'm saying? So they view him as elite. Steph has a skill set that no one else has, and he's doing things with his skill set that no matter how big, strong, and bruising you are, you're not gonna be doing these things. You know what I'm saying? So these other guards view Steph as like one of them, but he's actually not one of them because his skill is so elite that you know that it even supersedes everything that they do. You know what I'm saying? It's why there is a perception that there is right now.
I
There is
just
that perception there right now because of that.
just don't get it, man. Why is it so easy for us to like recognize how absurd it is, but they can't see it. It's like it's not. I mean, aside from the fact that like Steph's skill set is clearly better than all of them. Like he can
Yeah.
do things on the court that nobody else in the league ever has been able to do. Aside from that fact, it's not even just about the skill set. Like the greatest players ever, like they're not just highly skilled. They have like a feel for the game. They know when to assert themselves on the court. They know when to take their shots and when to like pass the ball or to, go to a different spot on the floor to attract attention away. And like these other guys don't do that. And like you would think that these guys that are actually out there playing and having to figure out nightly how to win games would see that, but it's just like not apparent to them.
They I don't think they truly understand like a lot of this stuff, bro. Like they don't even understand. So they think like, all right, I come off of a ball screen and you know, I come off of a ball screen and I just fire, and that's going to be the thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of not that simple, right? So but it is what it is. Now, um, this is what I've been doing like the last couple of days, right? Like I've just been kind of projecting where I think we're going to finish. Okay, so in 2023, they were ninth in offense, right? And they were like a +2 team. The defense fell off of a cliff, right? So the defense in 2022, this says the best defense in the league was like a 110, right? Now, Cleveland, Memphis, Boston, Milwaukee, like all of these teams right here, like in the 110 to 111. Now, what all of these teams had in common last year was that they had like a big man, right? So two big men, Jaren Jackson, Time Lord, Giannis and Brook, and then you had like the Vucevic and all that. Even though he's not a great defender, but they were still managing some sort of defense, right? And then you have the fucking Phoenix Suns, bro. So you had New Orleans, Phoenix Suns, Miami, right? These are your top 8 defenses. This is how we left shit on the table, bro. This is how we left shit on the table last year. And we fucked up. We royally fucked up because look at these teams, bro. Like, you think that Miami, New Orleans, Chicago are better defensive teams than us, bro?
It's crazy. I
That
mean,
is that was in point part last year, dog.
so the best defense this year was a 110.5. But if you look at last year, we were like
Okay,
a 106.
so let's go to like the prior year, right? This is why I love playback, because this is the shit I do in my spare time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's look at the year before. So this is the 2021 season, bro. Look at this shit. A 106. Okay? This is a 106.9.
Yo,
Who's that, Sam?
what's up?
Yeah, so this was like a 106.9, right? So league average 112, league average defense 112. You know what I'm saying? So the top end teams was like at a 106. But just from like watching last year, right? Like watching last year and watch the differences between last year and this year. Last year they started out, and bro, like if you watch NBA like we do, bro, like you notice all of these trends. When the season started last year, or the championship year, rather, uh, I noticed that teams were playing a little bit more physical, and then people started to bitch. You know what I'm saying? So this number that says 106, that's almost like a blended number, right? When the season started off, Goldie, this number right here was like 100.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because during the first 20 games when we were 18-2, a lot of that, I mean, most of that probably was like our defense, like our offense
Matter of
was.
fact, Goldie, like the defensive ratings, it was probably like a 98 for us, like the first 20 games. It was like a 98.
Yeah,
And because, they changed up how they played, we were at like, I don't know, like a 110 and 111 for the rest of the season, right? So
hmm
the shit literally went from a 98, 99, which was destroying the league,
right.
to all of a sudden it was down to like a 110
hmm
because they changed how they referee the thing. You know what I'm saying? So this
Yeah,
is why I always say that referees, bro, they have a massive advantage in terms of your offensive and your defensive rating. You know what I'm saying? So last season we were like a +5 basically. So this last season or this past season we're at a 114, right? Look
hmm
at where they rank defense. Look at where they ranked offensively. Indiana, Dallas, all of these teams had a better offense than us because they were just running high ball screen, and spreading the court and all of that. So it derived more value. But if everyone is doing the same thing, what's going to be the equalizer? The equalizer is, or what's going to be the differentiator, I should say. The differentiator is going to be defense. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So at some point, if if the refereeing is in our favor, we're going to be right there.
Well, I mean, here's another thing to consider. Like, I still think that we have every bit the ability to be the best defense in the league. So I'm looking at StatMuse right now. So you showed this past season how Cleveland had the best defense at 110.6, I think, is what you said.
Yeah.
So the Warriors at home this past season, at home, had a 110.4 defensive rating. So they were the best defense in the league when playing at home. The reason why their defense was so bad was on the road they were somehow a 119.9. They got that's insane. They almost got 10 points worse on the road. But that's never been like an issue with them in the past. And
Goldie, I'm not saying this is the sole reason, but a lot of it was the referees, bro.
I completely agree.
I'll give you an example of this, right? So if you're on the road and the referees are calling certain things a certain way, so say this guy gets in a foul trouble, or that guy gets in a foul trouble, or he gets like a foul or whatever, right?
Mhm.
A couple early fouls, if you're expecting the game to be called one way, and then all of a sudden they're calling it a whole other way, it is going to affect how you play defense, right? So that back and forth all year long with how they were shifting in terms of how they were playing defense, if that is now a thing, then we have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely have a problem at that point. So,
I mean, I think it. I think that a lot of it has to do with the refs. I mean, in 2022, they I think that was the year that they started off the year where they're like, we're not gonna fall for these like foul baiting calls anymore, and then they didn't for like the first quarter of the season, and then it just
Yeah.
reverted back to normal. Um, but another thing I'm looking at is on the road this past year, her opponent shot 40% from three against us. That's insane. That's just I can't believe that was sustained the entire year because at home it was only 33%. I mean, to me
Goldie,
that
I'm
just
telling you, bro. Like I watched every game. You know what I'm saying? On the road, weird shit happened, bro. I'm telling you, like this is why I was getting so annoyed in the playoffs when I was watching certain things because like the Warriors weren't allowed to play defense anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was just the weirdest thing. So I know we can curse this guy, we can curse that guy, but it like 1 minute they're calling carry, right? And then the next minute they're not calling carry. Like, how can you play basketball under those conditions? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just happened back and forth, and they're like, "Oh, you just
right.
adjust." Like, bro, like, okay, I guess you can adjust, but at some point, we need some consistency.
I think that bad reffing, a lot of it leads to like we're having to overcompensate in other areas defensively, like having other people come help instead of like leaving one guy, defending somebody driving to the basket, and that leaves people open out on the 3-point line. It just like it causes things to spiral out of control to a degree. So
Yeah.
it can kind of start with the refs and then just cause a chain reaction where everything just starts breaking down and you can't do anything to stop it.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, like, so this season is going to be dependent on that. So DC asked about if we think Dame is going to be moved this season. Y'all want my honest opinion on this?
What?
Dame isn't going anywhere.
Really? Yeah, I don't think he is either. It was good in Miami, but
All right, so let me ask the chat this. Do they think that Dame is a massive upgrade, or do they think Dame is a marginal upgrade?
Look at every
Y'all think
team.
he's
Look at every team that's traded depth for a star. I mean, it doesn't really work.
No, 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 no. Like, all right, let me ask it again. And please try to take all bias out and all of that, right? Like, and let me reframe it. Based on what they're going to lose in a trade, right? Like, he has a big salary, right? Like, look at how many big salaries they have. So when they trade away the big salaries and all of that, now they're left with like draft compensation and all of that stuff, right? So say they trade away a big salary and some draft compensation, they get like a third team involved or something like that, right? And they chip away at their team, you know, that might be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like that might be a problem. So even if say they just got Dame, there was no salary cap in a perfect world and they just got him, right? I don't even think he improves their team that much. But factor in real world concepts now, and you have to trade somebody away. You have to trade away their salary, and you have to chip away at your team, along with the fact that they lost some guys in free agency and all of that stuff, right? Like that stuff is going to happen. They chipped that away in terms of their core, right? I don't even think Dame is impactful, but I don't even think he's that impactful because there's not much defensive value that he's adding, and the defense is already intact, right? So what's Dame gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's look back at this again. Let me look at Miami defensively, right? And where was Miami this past season in terms of Miami? Who's that, Sam?
yeah, it was my fault.
Miami was like a top 10 defense last year, right? And they were a middle of the pack offense. Miami was 25th in defense and made the fucking finals. Are
That's
you
great.
kidding me, bro? A 25th ranked defense made the fucking finals. Every time I look at this shit, bro, I get even more angry that we didn't win this year, dog. A 25th ranked offense made the finals. All right. So say Dame brings them up to like a 116 or something, or like a 115, right? And they keep the same level of defense, right? Let's just assume that a, a one a 115 versus a 113, or right? They are right around here in terms of net rating. They're right around here. They're somewhere between Golden State, where we were last season, and between the New York Knicks. They're a +3 team at best. You know what I'm saying? So you think a +3 team, right? You think a +3 team is getting to the finals year in, year out?
I feel like they're the worst team to make a finals, to be honest. Like, it's insane that they made a finals.
Here's what I'm saying too, as well. When I look at these guys, hold on, let me answer this too. Okay, yeah. So when I look at this thing, right, I don't think Dame is going to push them to. I don't think Dame is going to push them to a one, like a one. I don't think so. People think that Dame is going to just make this big difference, right, bro? They were a 113 defense and a 113 offense. If Dame gets them to a 116 and they maintain the same level of defense,
Goldie,
how much of a difference is that making? I think Miami's in a problem right now. I think I think they're in a bind. And I think that's why they're taking so long to make this trade. And I have a feeling now that there's a Giannis dynamic, right? That even makes Dame moving more complicated, because teams don't want to uproot. Teams still remember what happened with Westbrook. You understand what I'm saying? They remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? So they don't necessarily want to uproot and do this and do that and get rid of the guys that they're going to get rid of. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like they are at a point where they only want to trade if they know that it's going to guarantee them the title. And they know the Dame can't do that. And not only that, but in the future, like a few years down the line, him and Butler's contracts are going to have them in a very shitty situation.
Wait, Goldie, you said that that Miami team that made it last year was the worst team to make the finals? That's wrong. That 2007 Cavs team was the worst team, bro.
Hell no. Mm-mm.
I don't know if the 2007 Cavs were. I mean,
No.
they probably. I don't know. I don't think the Heat were much worse, but I think the Heat were worse.
Yeah, the Heat were worse. They were a playing team, Sam. Like, that Cavs team.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat were like a couple minutes away from getting knocked out of the play-in by the Bulls.
Yeah, but that Cavs team was bad. LeBron literally carried that team.
Fuck that. No, they weren't that bad.
Bro, are you serious? Bro, you look at that roster. Who the fuck was that, bro? Nobody on that roster is LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
let's compare, because we can do things relative to the league and all of this stuff. Okay.
I mean, even like LeBron's, he's going to be a lot more impactful for a team than Jimmy Butler is.
All right. So let's look at this, right?
No,
so this Cavaliers team, Sam, they were running like a 113, close to like a 113 offense.
No,
and they were like a 112 defense. So they were a +1 team, right? So in terms of net rating, they were a slight positive. So they were a +1, right? Now let's go and look to see where that Miami team fell in.
No, I'm talking about 2007, not 2017.
2007, Urkel.
2007.
Yeah, when LeBron went to the versus Spurs, that team was awful.
Sam,
Yeah.
Miami team. Hold up.
you skip school
Where's
again,
this
Sam?
Miami team in terms
Nah,
of net
bro, I'm
rating?
going.
I'm having a hard time locating them. Oh, look at that. This is a team that made the finals this year, bro.
They got outscored all
Negative.
the season and made
That's this year.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Dr. NBA. I'm saying, like, I feel like they're the worst team that's had a finals appearance.
Well, let's see the numbers.
I mean, I remember listening somebody's podcast a couple months ago. They were saying that they're the only
the
team.
Cavs were 7th in this list.
The Heat were the only team with a negative point differential to ever make the finals.
Hold on.
Just
You see all of this shit. So when you look at this numbers, they were a +4. Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
I mean,
Cleveland that year was a +4 team. They're like, that's the worst team that ever made the finals. The math ain't mathing, bro. The math is not mathing.
yo,
They were top 4 defense,
but
dog.
Urkel, one thing though that's important, right? It has to be like kind of relative to like the league that year. I think
What do you
last
mean?
year we had a
What do
really
you
good
mean, Dr.
offensive
NBA?
year.
Break down that.
Net
Okay,
rating is
well, you do
exclusively
that
relative to
adjustment
the
for me.
league.
What is that adjustment?
No. This rating, right? This rating is exclusive to 2007, but I'm talking about when you compare it to the Miami Heat, right? I think when you look at the offense from this past season, it's like a lot more elite.
Well, I mean, net rating
That's
isn't
NBA.
just
That makes no
offense.
sense. All right, talk to me now, brother. Because
Now I can't talk to you for long. I have to do something, but
now you got to disappear. All right, you go ahead. But what you said makes no sense.
no. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, though?
No, I don't understand what you're saying.
We don't understand.
Goldie, do you understand?
No, I don't understand because it's not just the offense. Like, yes, you can say like their offensive ratings aren't comparable because relative to the league, but what he's saying is the Heat this year were outscored on the season and made the finals. The Cavs
Offensive rating
were a great
builds
defensive
in
team.
the relativity, bro. Like
Right.
it builds in the relativity. So when people say to me the 2007 Cavs were the worst team that ever, they were a +4 team, bro. What do you mean? Relative to the league, bro. Like, so they were right there with this Detroit team. So the Detroit team that they beat in the Eastern Conference Finals wasn't much better than they were. That's what I'm saying. This team was a top 5 defense, bro. Look at this. LeBron had a top 5 defense.
Yeah, they're only saying that because they got swept in the finals. That's not
That's
telling
why,
the
bro.
whole story.
That's
Well,
why.
I mean, look
How
at
did
that
they
Spurs
get to
net
the
rating.
finals? Like,
That Spurs team was nuts.
So, Goldie, what's your explanation for Bron getting swept then?
I mean, look at the Spurs net rating right there. I mean, they're
they have
Get
they
blown
have
out
a
in the
top.
game, though.
Hold on. They have an 18th ranked offense and a top 5 defense. Okay, hold on.
Okay, we're holding on.
Hold on. Take a visual picture of
Hurry up.
this. Right? Top 5 offense, right? So this year, a 101 was a top 5 offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Right?
Erico. That's my question. So, okay, you're saying 101 was a top 5 offense. What was that for 2023? That was my question. Exactly.
Dr. NGA, it doesn't matter because the net rating, it just goes across the board. You know what I'm saying? The net rating is saying you are plus whatever better than the league this year, right?
Bro, I'm not a stat nerd. You have to explain it to me. Thank you.
Okay. So when you're a +4 team, right? That's saying that your margin of victory that year, you are 4 points better than that team that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers, relative to competition, this year, they were 4 points better than every team that they ran into per
Okay.
100 possessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like per 100 possessions, you can stretch it across, 15 years from now, right? Because it's how good the team was relative to the league this year, right? So they're a +4 team right here, okay? 18th ranked offense, top 5 defense. Now let me show you something real quick here. Let me show you something real quick here. Let me show you something really quick here. This is going to blow your fucking mind. This is going to blow your fucking mind right now. It's going to blow your fucking mind. Golden State Warriors, a +5.6 team. The Cleveland Cavaliers were like a +4 and something team. Now, the Warriors were ranked 17th in offense. The Cleveland Cavaliers were ranked 18th in offense that year. Top 5 defense versus top 5 defense.
Oh, so we were number one. Yeah, we were number one.
So what I am saying is that Steph Curry literally just took the Cleveland Cavaliers of 2007 to the finals and won.
Okay.
So when you're on the timeline, I literally just broke it down to you. Steph took a level of team relative or just as good as the 07 Cavs to the finals and won.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget against a better defense.
Wait, no, they weren't better than the Spurs defense. But yeah.
Generation.
The Celtics weren't better? I thought the Celtics
better than the Spurs back then.
I think the Celtics had one.
It was one of the generational type defenses in the last 10 years, bro.
Bro,
Not-
Cody,
not-
the media, ESPN, and all of them were saying like the
Exactly. There was a better defense, bro.
the best
Right.
defense.
Well,
In the last 10 years.
the media says a lot of stuff that
It was backed up by the numbers, bro.
No, I mean
Shadow.
it wasn't. It wasn't. They had
Hop
a,
up here real
they
quick,
were like
Shadow.
they were like a -5 defense.
Goldie, you're being flagrant right now. You're being real flagrant, bro. That
I'm not-
Celtics team was
Well,
one
hold
of the
on.
best
Like,
defensive
can I-
teams in
Wait,
the
no,
past
so-
10
Can I
years.
speak?
Hold
Can I
up.
speak?
This is what I've been telling y'all, bro. We do not give Steph enough fucking credit, bro. What he did in 2022,
Exactly.
like Bron gets so much boost for winning or for making the finals in 2007. Steph Curry literally what Bron did in 07, but the only difference is he just took that shit to his 4th title.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying,
so
bro?
there's a few things to say here. One, yes, like Steph was much better. So like comparing 2007 LeBron to 2022 Steph is just
Goldie, I
like,
completely
it's not close.
understand. Like one guy was 23 years old, this other guy is 33 years old. Like completely understand that, right? But when we're talking about the level of team that
Competition.
Steph Curry took to the finals and won,
yeah.
you think people are going to look at it like that? So let's just hold Steph and let's just hold LeBron constant.
Yeah, no, I'm mainly just addressing the whole like best defense point. Like to be honest, I never like the Celtics defense was phenomenal, especially after like late January, whenever they like got their shit together. But they weren't one of the best defenses ever. Like not even close.
Come on, bro. They were talking about it all the time. Bro. Come on, bro.
No, Trinity, there's literally no number that's
Hold on, I'm about to go get the numbers real quick. Hold
Trinity,
on.
like they weren't even the
I'm about
best
to go get
defense
it.
in the league. They
Okay,
weren't
I'm
even
about to
better
go get
than
it.
us.
Listen. Hear me out. Steph Curry took a Warrior team to the finals, right? That you can argue was literally the same supporting cast, right? By the numbers, they were literally the same supporting cast that Bron had. You see what I'm saying, bro? So this is not just exclusive to 2022. You can stretch this across many years. But you know what, bro? The difference between Steph and what Steph did, Steph took that team and made them fucking legendary, bro. Like, I'm talking about over a 6-year span, these dudes won the most games ever over a 6-year span with Steph Curry doing that. And half of those teams, Kevin Durant wasn't on. Half of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? The man is fucking legendary, bro. So when we were doing that tier thing yesterday in Andre's room, and we're doing all of this stuff, bro. Steph Curry is doing this with help relative to what LeBron was doing with in 07. So if we're going to put LeBron in this GOAT discussion, Steph Curry needs to be fucking right there with him, bro. He needs to be right there, right beside him, bro. So when he wins this 5, he's past him. This is what I'm saying, bro. This is what I've been trying to fucking bring people to. But we are so fucking corrupted in our minds because we've been corrupted by ESPN this whole time, bro. This is why I say it's 5 and it's fucking over, bro. This is what we need to be doing, bro. Like, this is what we need to be talking about.
Urkel, let me ask a question. In 2022, we were talking about what Steph did here within this context, right? Understanding that there was obviously a 10-year age gap between 07 and 2022, 07 LeBron, 2022 Steph. That's fine. Wasn't Draymond Green non-existent, basically, defensively and on both sides of the floor in at least 2 games in those NBA finals, right?
Yeah.
What did Steph Curry do when the anchor of the defense was played off the floor in 2022? And what did LeBron do in 2014 when Chris Bosh was played off the paint? What did the two do? What happened?
What are you saying? Like, what are you saying they did?
He countered around it. He
countered around it. When Chris Bosh was getting pulled up in high ball screens and getting absolutely cooked in the paint in the 2014 finals, what counters did they have? What counters did LeBron have? What other things were they able to run? Did they make any other defensive rotations? Were they able to outscore the Spurs?
They weren't.
I think
they weren't. Matter of fact,
and when Draymond Green looked like a cone in the 2022 finals, what did Steph Curry do? Think about that.
Yeah, bro. Like, you're preaching to the damn choir now, because I've had this opinion for years, bro. Like, I've had this opinion for years because I look at these stats and I look at it like 50 different ways, man. And I'm telling you, I watch it and I look at the stats and I'm like, when people say the Warriors had this overwhelming help, they didn't. You know what I'm saying?
The man got benched in the finals, bro. The anchor of the dynasty got benched in the finals.
I wish they still had these plus minus stats here, bro. I really, really do. Because I would be able to show y'all, what a fair comparison is? A fair comparison is 2016 Steph versus 2009 LeBron. That's more of a fair comparison because Steph in 16 was around in year 6. LeBron was around year 5, year 6 at that point. You know what I'm saying? That Cavs team, oh God, I wish I still had the plus minus stats. Fuck. Let me pull this up.
Forget all that, man. Forget all that. We're doing too much.
Not
I'm
really.
busy, guys, but I just want to say one thing just to end this whole thing. Pull up Andrew Wiggins' true shooting with Steph on and with Steph off. There's no more conversation after this. Put on Andrew Wiggins was the second best player in the playoffs. So pull up Andrew Wiggins' true shooting percentage on and with Steph and true shooting percentage off.
So the Cavs that year were a top 5 offense and they were a top 5 defense. So they were 4 and they were 3, and that netted to they had the best team in the league. They were a plus 10 team that year, right?
Mhm.
Okay, they were a plus teams. So let's go all the way to 2016. Okay,
We were like a plus 12. Plus 11.
this is the same level of team, right? So the Warriors were, a plus 10. So they were the number 1. So they had top 5 offense, top 5 or top 6 defense. You know what I'm saying? So their defense got slightly worse. and this netted out to a +10. The Spurs were like a +11. This is the 73 win season. You know what I'm saying?
That Spurs defense was nuts, bro.
And it was nuts, bro. Like,
they're actually nuts, like insane.
Do you know? So they took away the plus-minus stats here, right? So when we compare both of those years and we look at Bron, what Bron's on-off was, Steph's on-off that year was a +23 in 2016. Do you know what Bron's on-off was in 2009? Guess.
It was plus like 22.
It was a +21, close, a +21. So what I'm saying is that they are having the same impact on the same level of team. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. They're literally having the same impact. But Steph was more successful doing it than LeBron was. Do you see what I'm saying? He actually won championships with the team that drafted him.
Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, right? San Antonio was a 102. Boston was a 106.
What year?
07 and 22 Boston.
So that doesn't even matter, right? Because some years are going to be defensive slanted.
Yeah, but they wasn't top. They wasn't top. Both teams was top.
But when you look at that relativity, like the difference between offense and defense, and then you say, all right, this year relative to the league, this team was, like that's a real thing that you can look at, right? Right.
But if you look in the context of like the best defensive teams of the playoffs of both seasons, San Antonio's in top 3, Boston was on top 3. So it makes like it's
no, Boston was not top 3
in 22.
No, they weren't.
In the playoff? Bro, it's on the app. The
top 3 in that
defensive
season, maybe.
rating,
But
yes,
you should
I'm going my season, bro.
But we shouldn't be comparing it just like purely off the rank. Compare it to like the league average defense.
If I go back to the last 20 years, best defensive ratings of any teams, Boston and San Antonio.
No. But what I'm saying is that you when you do the net rating, this team that year was plus whatever, right? Like that's relative to whatever they were doing.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a fact.
Right? So like the last since 2017, right? Offensive ratings have skyrocketed, right? Versus what was happening like the prior 5 years, right? Like a 115 now is not the same as like a 115, say 6-7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But what does stay constant is the differences between offense and defense, right? So when on a nightly basis, right? Like when you run into a team and you beat a team by 5 points, that does not change, right? Like that tells us how strong you are. Those are the damn type of stats they're using in Vegas and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it, it's saying that you are this much better than the team that you're going up against every night. So if we're watching a Warrior game, right? And they are beating a team by like 2-3 points every night versus Steph is sitting every fourth quarter. What can you say about those teams versus, the teams that Steph is sitting versus when he's not sitting and he's on the fourth quarter and he's struggling to win games? Like, what can you say about those teams? Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like you can definitely look at it and measure the strength of each team year to year to year.
Yeah.
Margin that you beat a team by year to year to year, it's significant. It signifies how strong your team is. Right.
You have to acknowledge though how good that 2007 Spurs team was.
Okay, so the 2007 Spurs had a 9.3.
Goldie.
He had a 9.3.
Right?
Huh?
I am not arguing that, but if you want to go back and you want to watch some of those games, and you want to just look at this thing and you want to say, all right, like how strong is this team? How strong is that team? Right? Like if you want to look at it in that sense and say, all right, this team was XYZ strong, blah, 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 right? Like I think that net rating is a really good indicator to say how strong your team is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you can even divide it even more and say, all right, cool. So if your team was like a +5 team, right? A +5 team relative to a +5 team now, I mean, it's kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? Opponent strength and all of that stuff. And then, you know, this is how you can start to like determine which guys are the best, blah, 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 right? So if your team is beating another team by 10 points every night, okay? And then you say, all right, so when Steph is on the court versus when he's off the court, Steph is like a +20 when you do the points per 100 possessions, right? So you are scoring at a certain rate versus when Steph is off the court, right? And then you look at the margin of victory. This is how bro, so when people say it's a team sport, yeah, it's a team sport. But if you're removing a guy off of the court and you're 20 points worse, you're scoring at a rate of 20 points worse, what does that tell you? And again, 2016, 2015 Steph was putting up net ratings relative to what was going on then.
Yep.
Do you see what I'm saying? Right? So like when we talk about all this stuff, bro, you know, you can definitely like extrapolate and just kind of look at it, you know, year to year to year and see what this person is doing from what that person is doing from what this person is doing. Right? So, you know, that's kind of how we need to look at it. You know, like you talk about one person versus the other person and all of that stuff. So when I come on here and I was like, you know, Steph Curry has a +18 on off, you know, versus, you know, like LeBron who has like a +18. Steph Curry played on a better team in 2017, but his value on the Warriors that year was probably better than the value that LeBron had on a better team. Do you see what I'm saying? So people have like fucked Steph out of so many awards year after year after year. I'm telling you, bro, we're literally looking at like a top 5 player. Easily. He's minimum a top 5 player ever. And we're just not even realizing it. But you're going to need championships in there. You're definitely going to need championships. You're definitely going to need championships. You didn't get a notification? That's interesting. So some people get notifications and you don't get notifications for some. That's interesting.
I think what's his name just started a playback or so.
Manu just started his,
Yeah,
and y'all got a notification for that one, but you didn't
Yeah, I
get
got
a
a
notification
notification.
for this one?
I didn't even get a notification for yours. I had to go on my Twitter and see that you posted the link. I'm like, wait, is playback going on right now?
But you got a notification for Manu's, right?
Yeah, I definitely got my Manu's
How do
notification.
some people get notification for theirs, and some people don't get a notification? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Coming
don't know what's
for
going
you.
on.
That's interesting.
It
They're
is.
coming for you.
Bro, I get fucked everywhere I go, bro. Jesus Christ. I literally get fucked everywhere I go. Some people got notifications, some people don't.
Do we agree though that the Heat this year are the worst team to make the finals?
Goldie.
Going back to where that started.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of a worse one. I'm trying to
I'm a
rack my
visual
mind.
person. So let's
Because
go back. Right?
that's a 8. They were 8 seed, right? So they never like.
I mean,
Let's just use something as net rating. I mean, this is one number and it doesn't mean anything, right?
Okay.
But this is a team that made the finals. They were 21st in net rating.
it's
Okay.
insane.
All right. So they were 21st in net rating. So let's go year by year. Let's go year by year. So in 2022, the two teams that made the finals were
Top 5, but
so a plus 5.6. So these were top 5 teams.
Boston had like a 6.5 on 22.
yeah, 86 Houston. I don't think they were that bad. See, they had Elijah Wan and Ralph Sampson. That team was
Wait, did people go over to the next playback or?
no, that team had a top 5 offense and top 15 defense that year in 86.
Isn't that interesting to you?
So, I mean, like the only other one, like this one is like the cop out answer, but the only other one I feel like could be the 99 Knicks because they made it as an 8 seed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like,
Go back
they
to the
were.
99 Knicks then. Let's
I
go
mean,
all
they
the way
were
back.
all like for one, they were also a +1 team, but they were also only like the 8 seed because the season was shortened, and I'm pretty sure Patrick Ewing like missed some games during that shortened regular season that like
Ewing
knocked
didn't
them
matter
out.
that year. So the Knicks were a worse team. No, the Miami Heat were a worse team than the Knicks. That's the worst team that I can think of in terms of making the finals. You understand what I'm saying?
It's insane.
That's probably a worse team. That's probably a worse team. Like if we're going to be 100% honest, that is a worse team. That's definitely a worse team. So, I mean, you kind of have to look at it that way, bro.
Urkel, you
Like,
want to hear the net ratings of the last 20 NBA champions?
81 Rockets.
go ahead.
The top 20. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
So going back from the highest net rating was obviously it was the 2017-2018 Warriors, 16.1. Spurs in 14, 16. Bulls in 91, 11.2. Boston Celtics in 81, 10.9. Pistons in 04, 10.6. Lakers in 09, 10.4. Lakers in 02, 10.2. Philly, wait, 1 second. In 83, 9.9. Bulls in 98, 9.4. Celtics in 08, 9.2. Denver Nuggets, 9.1 in 23. That's crazy. Bulls in
Is this
92.
their playoff net rating?
This is by NBA champion best net rating to make the finals. Golden State Warriors 15, 7.6. Detroit Pistons 89, 7.5. Los Angeles Lakers 01, 7.4. And the Spurs in 07, 7.2. Rockets in 95, 7.2. Warriors in 17, 6.8. Spurs in 03, 6.6. Boston 86. This nigga trapped himself in the curtain. Hold on.
Bro.
Yo, my fault. My son had trapped himself in the curtain. Come out the damn curtain.
What are you looking at?
So is the best net rating by the last 20 NBA champions.
Oh, okay. You're saying like the best net rating in the finals?
No. Period.
Of
teams who have won, like what are those net ratings.
Well, I think that he's talking about just in the finals because he said plus 16 for the Warriors and the Spurs, and I'm looking at the best
Yeah,
net
NBA
ratings.
Finals, NBA Finals.
Okay.
Because the playoffs is what count, right? So
Yeah. The best net rating in the playoffs. I don't like using the playoffs because the playoffs is a smaller sample size.
yeah,
Weird shit can happen. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. But 16.1 is crazy.
Sample size and it means less, right? But like if you can do net rating like across a regular season, I think that probably means a little bit more because the sample size is a little
Hold
bit
on, let me pull that up real quick.
where are you pulling that from? Can you screen share that or not?
Yeah, hold on, give me a second.
I think
How do you screen share? On my screenshot?
Are you on your computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Let me try to find this because I know that there's somewhere on here where you can look at this. I don't have StatHead. I need to get fucking StatHead, bro. Team Season Finder. Let me see here. I should just pay for this shit. Well, I'll do this another time. I got to pay for this shit anyway. But yeah, like the best net rating team, I think. You know what? Let me see if I can find it on.
It's the 96 Bulls, and then the 97 Bulls.
In 96 Bulls, 97 Bulls, then Warriors in 17. Warriors in 17, Spurs in 16, 08 Boston, 92 Bulls, 71 Bucks, 16 Warriors, 72 Lakers, 15 Warriors.
All right, I found it on StatMuse. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now too.
Let me look at StatMuse here.
07 Boston, 07 Spurs as well.
Oh, I got it right here.
Okay.
So we can rank this by net rating, right? So every calculation is a little bit different, but look at these teams right here. So the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, the Spurs,
Hawaii year.
The Spurs,
Boston.
Bulls. That was a great team, that Boston team.
Uh-huh.
Chicago in 91, 92. That was an amazing team too. The Bucks, the Golden State Warriors, bro. The Golden State Warriors right here at 10.7. This is Steph Curry.
Uh-huh.
And KD, this is the value that KD added. But KD missed like 6 weeks in that time. You know what I'm saying? Then you get to the Lakers and the 15 Warriors, bro. Like, this is how dominant these motherfuckers were, bro. Like,
Yep.
this is how
That's in the
dominant
top.
they
That's in
were.
the top 20 all in the last 20 seasons.
I
That's
see a
crazy.
polar bear. Holy shit.
So
What are the 2021 Jazz doing here?
I was just about to say 2021 Utah Jazz. There's no way. Oh yeah, that's
So
that
in
time
the
when they
top
knocked out
10, so in the top 10, the Warriors have 3 of the 10
three.
best teams in terms
That's
of net
crazy.
rating.
Along with the Bulls. Along with the Bulls is crazy.
Bro, Steph Curry is minimum top 5 player, bro.
Exactly. Top 3 and he ain't 3.
Minimum top 5. Minimum top 5.
It's crazy. The only other team that got 3 is Jordan. That's crazy.
Minimum top 5, right?
No LeBron team in there in the top 10. Magic, Lakers, Cleveland Lakers one thing.
Right? So kind of like when we look at all of this stuff, bro, it's like, we just kind of put like all of that stuff into context. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Goldie, what are you doing, bro?
Me? Oh, sorry. I was. Charlie posted this picture of Draymond and said Dre looks like he's put on some serious
Oh yeah,
muscle.
that shit look crazy. That boy look tough.
No, he just looks fat as shit.
Nah.
Who looks fat? Draymond?
Draymond?
Draymond looks like he's put on some fat, man.
It's
He's
the
getting a
look
beer
like.
gut.
Goldie, put it in the chat, bro. If you
Hold on.
can. Really.
I gotta find it.
I'm dying to see what this is.
Wait, so there's actually 2 playbacks going up there? It's crazy.
You think he looks fat right here?
I don't think he looks like he's
I don't
gotten
think
that
he looks fat,
muscular.
bro. He does. I mean,
He looks
I
a little
mean,
thick.
he looks a little fit, bro.
He looks like
His
Draymond.
arms look
Like,
toned up.
he looks the same to me. Like his arms folded. He looks the same. He might look a little thicker, but not by much.
Hey, yo, hold on.
Well, it's maybe
So,
like.
AK, let me ask you this question, AK. Because you're in tune with this stuff as well. Do you feel like Draymond? Do you feel like Draymond had like, you know, like when somebody loses weight, they gain weight, they lose weight, they gain weight. Don't you feel like Draymond had like the lollipop head thing going on at one point?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's like visibly, like like you could kind of see it, especially through a little bit in the beginning of last season compared to like the end of last season. But like, given what he has, you know, with his disc and the issues he has with his hip, I don't understand why he would be playing with that at all. Like, you're talking about like risking injury through weight fluctuation. Like, it's I know that, you know, guys gain weight and they lose weight through the off season and they have different training regimens and this and that, but every every pound of weight that you add is 3 additional pounds of weight carried through your patellar joint, through your patellar, to your kneecap, and then also 6 pounds through your hips. So every pound that's added, whether that be water weight or however he's managing his weight, is only just creating more pressure through his hips and through his disc. So I mean, visibly, like it's hard to say like how much weight he's fluctuating with, like in a given time, but it's certainly there. I mean, I don't understand why he would be doing that. You would think that, you know, his personal training, you know, regimen and anybody that he works with, you know, outside of the Warriors or even Celebrini, they would have an understanding of that. But at the end of the day, it's on him. Some guys just have difficulty managing their weight. And you don't want to get into, you know, other reasons why, you know, a player may have difficulty doing that. But yeah, in terms of
fucking eating correctly,
thing, like it's certainly like a part of it. Like it's hard to say that he's not. So I don't understand why though. It would be one of the primary areas of concern, you know, if I'm the Warriors and the training staff, given everything that we know, to be able to manage his weight and his nutrition. It's beyond me.
His weight fluctuation drives me crazy, but, you know, I don't think he looks fat there. I think so.
I think he looks like Draymond there. I mean, I don't see that he's too much bigger,
bro. Like, we can just go back and look at film on him in 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like that man looked like he was a linebacker back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me see.
His legs do look bigger in this picture. That's for sure.
I don't know. I mean, it could just be angles. He might not even be different in size at all. He's just looking a little watery to me. So
yeah, he's looking watery. I think that's the best way to explain it. He's carrying some water weight. But I don't know, man.
And I mean, even if it
doesn't make sense to me.
Even if he's, you know, carrying some extra water weight, I mean, that's still telling me that he's, you know, he's not got his diet in check. Too much carbs. I mean, like, this is a dude who should be getting, like, in the best shape of his life, especially with the injuries. Like,
especially right now. Yeah. Especially right now. I mean, September's only got, you know, a little over a week left. So it's time.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of nutrition program that he's on, or what type of stuff that they're doing for him. But I don't know. There's been athletes in recent years that have made pretty significant changes that have helped their longevity, and he's getting to a point in his career now where any marginal improvement and adjustment there will help him. So, but then again, you can't force it. At the end of the day, it's up to the player and it's up to the individual. I don't know anything else that he's dealing with or other
right here,
eating
bro.
habits that he has. So.
You know what?
What the hell was that play?
Game 7. I don't know that I necessarily want to watch Game 7. Let me find something else. I was just looking for something.
You don't like torturing yourself?
Yeah. I don't like doing that. They're showing me final stats.
AK, what's the score?
0-0 right now. But I mean, if I'm Draymond, I'm getting in the lab. Like if I'm him, I'm getting in the lab with Steph, and I'm doing all of those range of motion type of mobility type exercises and strength at range and strength within range, at flexion, at hyperextension, all of those things to be able to train his muscles to be able to tolerate load in different ranges of motion. That's the key for him. It's not necessarily bulking up his quads or his calves or bulking up his shoulders. He's past that point, bro. Like Father Time. It's time to
look at him right here, right? Like
right here.
Just look at his body right here, bro. This is what, if he can get to this, which I doubt he can because he's in his 30s right now, but like this is where his body should be.
I can't see it, man. It's just a black screen.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I left the app and I think it just fucked up.
Yeah, he's tough, but weight management is a place to start.
Coco B. Wild said bad angle, and he said bad angle and something else. Bad angle and great sweatpants. That's hilarious, bro. That is hilarious.
Gotta ask Shadow how Draymond eats. He might know how he eats.
Hey, yo.
I don't know if we know how he eats.
Tell him to contact me.
That profile picture is nasty work. Nasty work.
I find it hilarious.
Bro, I had a tweet in my drafts when I think Lowe was going after me for something, or he retweeted something. I had name a famous battle, and I had a picture of him and then a treadmill.
Oh, I remember. Yo, that's crazy.
And I did not tweet that because I did not want to be the main character on Twitter that day.
Fuck the treadmill. Just give him a staircase. I mean, there's no way this. Never mind. I'm gonna. Apparently, you can get banned on here. So
that's nasty work, Goldie.
I mean, this picture is just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is pretty funny. Like,
no man, I really hope Draymond. Like, I really do hope that Coco's right, and this is just a bad angle because even if he's not bigger, I mean, he's got a lot of ways to go to get ready for the season if he's going to keep himself healthy.
So, Erk, I have a question for you. You think Damian Lillard is a top 5 shooter ever?
Oh, here we go, Kevin.
No. I'm not trying to be controversial.
I don't think he is.
Okay, do you think he's a top 10 shooter ever?
Yeah, this can be solved pretty easily. Like if you look at volume, you look at efficiency, you can
because I can name five. So my top 5, and I'm not talking about like the 60s and like the 50s. I'm just saying my top 5, not in any particular order: Steph, Clay, Reggie Miller, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, and then Larry Bird is my 5.
That's it right there.
And then I would argue to put Steve Nash ahead of him just on percentages because Steve Nash is like 48, 42, 90, and Lillard is 43, 37, 88, I think. and I took a look at Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, you could argue Dirk is also a better shooter.
So here's what I'll say. So if we're taking into account the volume and the percentages, why is Bird that high?
We may find a little jewel.
That's a great question.
I mean,
Goldie, so there's a few elements here, right?
I get it. I mean, it was a different era.
Volume number one is there.
No. Because what you could do is that you could look at volume, the amount of shot a guy takes. You could look at,
Just takes advantage, baseline, then the
how many points a guy score, right? Even though that's a function of
Range.
how efficient a guy is and all of that, right? And then you have to look at shot quality, right? The shot quality now is way different than it was then. Like, we're playing with a bunch of spacing then versus with what we're playing with now. You know what I'm saying? So I think what we should do is look at true shooting relative to league. But here's the problem with true shooting. Guys are taking more threes than they ever have before. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I think Kevin, I don't want to misrepresent the point, but were you talking about best three-point shooters ever, or just shooting in general?
I mean, it could be pure shooting. It could be, including shot creation off the dribble, catch and shoot. I mean, it could be all of that stuff. Your point yesterday was range, and I mean, you could definitely say Lillard's the top 5 range shooter of all time. He's probably top 3 because he makes some of the longest shots we've ever seen. But I'm just talking about encompassing everything, like the best shooters.
Okay, I thought you were talking about purely just best three-point shooters. I didn't know you were talking about just shooting across the board. In that case, I wouldn't have
throw in guys like Peja Stojakovic, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say him. And
yeah, so
I mean, Larry had 47 with his left hand shooting the ball. Jesus Christ!
I mean, here's a hot take, but I think that this guy is going to end up as a top 5 three-point shooter ever. That's Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr.?
Yes.
A top 5 three-point shooter ever?
Yes. 100%.
That certainly is a hot take.
It's a hot take now. But
it's a hot take now.
Remember it.
I mean, Goldie, do you think his back is going to even hold up for him to have the longevity even if he can shoot at the clip and at the efficiency to be able to do so? You think his back is going to hold up to have a career that's long enough? He has the back of an 80-year-old man.
I mean, I feel like he had some issues at some point this season, but this was his healthiest season.
Yeah, but bro, do you understand what's wrong with his back? It's structurally
it's bad,
genetically.
It's bad. I think that he could probably have a decent career as just a guy that's only role is just off ball shooting. I don't think that he's ever going to be
there is
put in the role that he was expected to be.
I do agree with Goldie where this is concerned. Denver Nuggets, their chances year in, year out, it's going to hinge on that $30-something million that they're paying him every year. So,
yep.
So, do you understand what I'm saying with that? So, in one sense, you have, Porter Jr. and he's making what he's making, right? But it's almost like it's, he's making what he's making, but he's eating up a big portion of the cap. So if he's hurt, 1 year to the next, that can really affect what they're using their resources for in a particular player. And if he's not that good, it might be a massive failure for them. So their chances year in, year out might be a problem.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I will give Goldie is when he's been able to log over 60 games, he's over 40% from 3 every single year. even his rookie year. Well, rookie for him, you know what I mean, because he missed a lot of that first year. But
Absolutely.
so he has the efficiency to be able to do it. My only concern is the volume. Like, can you do that for 10 years? Can you do that for 12 years? And I don't know, man. Like,
I feel like
rare. What he has is rare. But
I feel like he's got like a really high release point, and he's able to play off ball so well. I feel like he could just play in like a really simplistic role for a decent length of time. And I mean, the ability is.
I don't
so
think
rare.
so. Let me ask you this: do you ever think that you'll be able to rank him over? You think you'll be able to rank him over like a Klay Thompson at any point?
I don't know, man.
because that's who he would have to beat out, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I know what you're
tough.
saying, and Goldie, I know exactly what you're doing because you're looking at the numbers and you're looking at what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? But like.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a feeling with Klay Thompson that's hard to beat. Gosh,
Bro,
I don't know. I mean,
it's like deadly, bro. All right, it's 10:30. I was gonna do this until 10:30, so I think I'm gonna do a Spaces today. So I will hop in with y'all later, and let's see what happens on the timeline because I do think there's some more stuff that's gonna come out.
I think Warrior Muse or Manu is doing a playback right now,
Okay.
so
All right.
I might hop over there.
Yeah. All right. Later.
All right.